Hi Scorpio, hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for May 8th through the 14th. So we have 4 transits that we're going to be talking about. I'm going to just I'm just going to be working the transits in this week. I'm going to start off with a general read and then I'm going to break it into a love read. I'm going to relationship read. I will timestamp for that in the description box below. Along with that timestamp, you're going to find a discount code of 15% for what's called my Synastry reads. A Synastry read is when I run your birth chart, a partner's birth chart. I send them to you separately, but then what I do is layer them and run a report to see how your transits are sort of speaking to each other. And then I pull the transits that are going on right now. We talk about that. And then I pull a couple of Celtic cross spreads on whatever it is that you might be wanting some guidance on right now. So if you're interested in that, there's a 15% coupon code off down in the description box. So for you guys, Scorpio, it's all about the 8th house, the 7th house, the 5th house this week. We're going to talk about that. We have thinker energy. Go the distance. Yes. Building blocks. I have to tell you, I'm getting a very beautiful vibe already from your reading. Beautiful, beautiful. Because, okay, if I can not knock everything down. The thing is with this 8th house energy, 8th house is a lot of things. Obviously, you guys know this. It's your home. You're very cozy there. It's where you live, right? But what is your house? What is the 8th house? It's endings and beginnings. It's transformation. It's other people's money. It's how we fare financially in marriage or business partnerships. It has to do with inheritance, legacy, taxes, banking, accountancy, investments, all things like that, where it's also the stock market, anything that could be cyclical, anything having to do with that. It's also how your partner's value system interacts with your value system. You know, it's this idea of merging and also relationships as being a catalyst for change. So, you know, as you start into a new cycle. So if you think about it, like when you get married or you get engaged or you move in together, that's creating change through relationship. When you start a business, that's a change through relationship with a business partner. You follow? Like that's the 8th house, right? So the 8th house is about really the other end of that. There being changes in these areas. So you have on May 8th, you have Venus entering Gemini. So whenever Venus is in Gemini, it's a very chatty energy, it's very communicative. And what are we talking about in Venus? How we feel, because Venus is self-esteem. It's not really emotions, but how we feel about ourselves. Love and money. And Venus is going to be in there chatting it up with Gemini. And Gemini is all about communication, signing on the dotted line and all of that. So the fact that you have Venus entering Gemini in the 8th house, Scorpio, excellent for those of you who are any sort of investments that are going on, any sort of if you're doing any sort of dealing with an inheritance, any sort of investment, let me just leave it like that. Any sort of blending with another in relationship, talking about combining resources, talking about any sort of combining anything. Really excellent week for combining anything, because also happening in that 8th house, and then I'm just going to pop forward for a second to the 14th. That's when we have the pre-retrograde shadow happening. Mercury is, it's been in Gemini since May 3rd, is going to be in Gemini until July 7th, and in between all of that, Mercury is going to be going retrograde. Now, on the 14th, we start the pre-shadow, not retrograde yet, but we're all going to start to feel everything, right? I call it the pre-retro shade, right? So that's going to be happening on the 14th. So everything that's happening in your 8th house, it's not that you're going to stop. It's you're going to take your time looking through things. This is an energy to reconsider things. You want to choose the path and direction that you want to go in, but just think about it extra cautiously. That marriage, that business partnership, that fill in the blank. Take your time, go through everything, really go over the fine print of something, make sure, because what can happen here when Mercury is in shadow and retrograde, we can get into situations that we then later say, oh, if only I had all the information. I didn't see this at that point, right? So that's why we say it's really not a good idea to get into brand new things brand new things during this energy. But if you're going into the energy where you've already begun negotiations, you're already in that relationship, something that's already begun, it's a great energy to actually go through and communicate and go through things with a fine-tooth comb. I think it's a great for you, Scorpio. You guys love, love, love to ask these big questions, right? You're the investigators of the zodiac. Now, just be careful though, because this can create, this retrograde, this can create conflicts with others, right? If you're pushing somebody to share something about themselves that they're not really ready to share yet, so you just want to maybe have your barometer up and running as far as that kind of stuff goes. But you're going to be asking a lot of questions, and it's really, really good to have Scorpio with honestly, with this Mercury energy that's in Gemini right now. You're going to be asking all the questions, and I think it's going to end up being a good thing for you in that way. Okay, so we have that's happening also in that 8th house for you. So you have, this is a good energy. We're going to talk about the new moon in a second, but let's start this. Celtic cross spread. This can cover any area of your life, however you are resonating with it. We're starting with the devil. So the devil is all about imbalance. It can have to do with addiction of any kind. So addiction is not only to alcohol and drugs, sex, money, gambling. It's not only to those things. People can be actually addicted to anxiety and depression that goes unchecked, untreated. It could have to do with narcissistic tendencies. It could have to do with cheating. Anything that would be imbalanced in a way that ends up negatively shackling the relationship. And you're really thinking about a lot of this, right? There's some sort of imbalance. And you might be like, oh, I'm not handling something in a very balanced way, or realizing something feels imbalanced in your life. This could even have to do with a family situation. You're like, that's not really fair. I'm not really vibing how those people are treating me, having to do with this particular situation. And you're realizing this. You're doing a lot of thinking. But what I like about this is idea, I'm hearing perseverance. There's something, you're going the distance is synonymous with perseverance, because you understand that whatever you're in right now, it's all a building block. You have to do this, then you have to do that, then you have to do the other thing. But I wouldn't be surprised if you're dealing with an energy that's just sort of like, at least subjectively in your mind, not very fair. Not very fair. Now, this doesn't have to be a significant other. This doesn't have to be your job. This could be a friend or a business partner, because this is the very general part of the reading. So let's get into the situation right now. We have the Page of Swords. So some sort of information is coming in. So there's useful information coming in, getting help from people around you to further your ambitions. This could be a contract coming your way regarding a job, regarding a house, regarding something having to do with your marriage, anything like that, right? So I feel like there's something going on here. And because the new moon on May 11th is in Taurus, is happening in your 7th house. 7th house has to do with partnerships where there's some sort of like contractual agreement, some sort of emotional agreement, right? It's business partner, it's marriage partner, it's anything like that. So the Page of Swords energy could be something, good news having to do with that. Maybe you're getting married, maybe you're getting divorced and you're happy about that, right? It could be something like that. But you're definitely relying on your intelligence, right? This is an air sign, and Page of Swords is, because swords are air and communication. Now, what is crossing that is the King of Swords. So the King of Swords is focused on the mind rather than the heart in order to take charge of your circumstances. So what this tells me is you're being very, very smart right now and asking all the right questions having to do with a situation that in your mind may not seem very, very fair right now. That's what I'm feeling here. And just to speak a little bit more about this new moon, I want to get into that a little bit. The new moon in Taurus is really, really good to commit to any kind of personal goal that you might have going on, anything having to do with, and because it's in your 7th house, anything especially to do with contract, marriage, any sort of commitment like that. anything that you feel like. So being super committed to your marriage, being really committed, and in a new way though, in a fresh way to that relationship, to that business situation, whatever it is. Taurus is very, because it's ruled by Venus, first of all, it's very grounded energy, but it also has to do with money. Taurus rules is the landlord of the second house of money and things that we value. So your value system is going to be a thing to you right now, right? Which it always should be, but sometimes we're a little more in tune with it than other times that we are. So this is a really good cycle to reevaluate your relationship to money and possessions and figure out what really makes you happy and fulfilled. What really makes you happy in marriage? What really makes you feel fulfilled? Because you really want to feel a high degree of self-worth. You want to simplify your life in this area, especially in the 7th house. Okay. Now, I do want to say that, and this is, first of all, very creative energy, as far as creative ways of seeing or approaching that relationship, that business connection, having to do with anything with possessions, value, money, your talents even. These are going to be in focus. Money is going to be a focus, right? There is so much healing and successful potential here. It's bananas right now. I like this. Now, the new moon is harmonizing with Neptune and Pluto. And what I like about this is this suggests that there's this inspiration and determination to support your efforts to start something new. It's almost like you want to turn over a new leaf, you want to start some sort of new chapter. And the square to Saturn and Jupiter are wide. They're relevant though, because the new moon is closely squared to the Jupiter-Saturn midpoint. So we can be in this space, all of us, in whatever house that we're having this in. And again, you guys are having this in your 7th house of partnerships. You might be dealing with the desire to grow and expand and be more, that business, that marriage, that whatever, right? You want to be in it, you want to grow it, you want it to be more, but you might feel very limited. And like there were rules and limits, and there are things that need to be dealt with right now. That could take up a lot of energy. So you just want to watch out for being too lax or too controlling, having to do with any sort of contractual agreement. So it could be like you and your partner may be buying a home, you and your partner starting a business, you just starting a business with a partner, you getting married, you know, like that's all the 7th house stuff, okay? Really good energy to make important changes. Even if you just make little smidgy adjustments to your plans right now, they can end up being really good, and you should start seeing them roll out about 2 weeks after the full moon happens. So I do like this. And especially those Scorpios who are resonating with this, if you know your degrees, your placements, Scorpio between 17 and 25 degrees are going to be feeling this the most profound. Give or take a couple of degrees on either end. So we have as the crowning energy and the best to be achieved out of this is the 2 of Pentacles. So this is about negotiation. And you need to make a decision regarding more than one path. So you could feel a sense of lack in money, lack in connection, but you need to decide which pentacle needs to be put down. There are 2 paths that you're looking at, 2 things, 2 ways of handling something, 2 ways. And I do want to say that because of all of this heavy 8th house energy, there's some heavy 5th house energy too, because Jupiter is entering Pisces in your 5th house of falling in love and romance and things you love to do because you love to do them. You're going to be very conflicted. Some of you may be needing to decide between 8th house, 2 investments, 2 different homes, 2 different strategies on how to handle some sort of legal situation. For some of you, it's between 2 different people in a relationship, 2 different contracts having to do with work. Okay, so that it could be that. Now we have the 4 of Swords. I like this for you for sure, because this is you taking time out to step back for perspective. So this is a really good energy to just kind of slowly figure something out. Even though you might not feel like you can slowly figure anything out, because Gemini's got fire under our feet this entire week, but you're going to be figuring out a better strategy for moving forward regarding whatever situation this is. And I laid out a bunch of different ones, however this is resonating with you. So now you are in the space of the 3 of Swords. Now, this can be anything from, this is the card of pain, but what kind of pain is this? First of all, for some of you, and I hope you're not resonating with this, for some of you, this can mean heart issues that need attention to safeguard, circulatory, blood pressure, angina, for example, some sort of like AFib situation, you know, something like that that needs looking into. But that would be you, because this is in your position. So you know yourself, if you're not feeling well, go to the doctor or something, okay? Heartbreak, pain of a truth. This could be betrayal. This could even be depression. You might be just struggling with depression. You might just feel really disappointed in the way something has rolled out with a family member or a friend, a significant other, or a business partner. But there's this sadness here. But what's good about this is all you could do is face reality. And in this Four of Swords energy, you're like, okay, this is what the deal is. I can't change it, can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, I can't mitigate somebody else's issues. How am I going to deal with this now? I need to just face reality. You're going to feel in a position, you're going to be able to move on from whatever is troubling you about this situation and just heal from it and see things in a new, you know, in a new way, in a better way. But that's what this energy is, you know. Because these really work together. We go from the Three of Swords to the Four of Swords. So you're going to be able to figure something out, whatever it is that's troubling you. Now, we have the Eight of Swords as an external energy that's influencing you. So now this could be just the general energy that's surrounding you right now, that you're vibing. Or this could even be you dealing with somebody who's an Eight of Swords energy. But this is about feeling trapped, thinking things are never going to improve. And there being a lot of anxiety because of that. And that can create challenges in concentration because you feel like, you know, there's some sort of situation that you don't belong in anymore. And you're going to need a lot of determination to pull yourself out of it, even if it means swallowing your pride, you know. You may be doing some healing here, right? So if this is you, or you might be dealing with somebody who feels like there's some sort of situation. Oh, this is never going to be any different than it is. I feel like this isn't the right thing for me. And then they end up, you know, either ending something, breaking your heart, whatever it is. It doesn't have to even be a relationship. It could be the end of a friendship, some sort of family situation. But there is some pain that you're going to be dealing with, but you're going to be able to figure it out. You are going to be able to figure it out. I mean, I feel like in your psychology, this is the Five of Cups energy. And this is your challenge right now. So your challenge is in sadness, in leaving, in some sort of loss, because some sort of situation, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, something to do with work, or some sort of financial situation ends before you felt ready for it. But you're going to be able to actually move forward from it. You will be able to do that and find forgiveness and just sort of recover from it. So what I feel like very strongly is something's going to be happening. It's going to make you feel sad, but you're going to spring back more than you normally would. Well, with greater ease, I feel like, than you normally would. And I actually feel like the Jupiter entering Pisces might be helping you out with this, because you're having this energy. It's, by the way, this is happening on the 13th. Jupiter is finally peeling himself away from Saturn for a quick 3-month hot minute to bless you in your 5th house of fun, romance, falling in love, love affairs, children. Now remember, something that I don't talk a lot about here, when we're talking about 5th house energy, Leo is the landlord, the ruler is the sun of the 5th house. The 5th house is also children. So what you experience in your chart can also be reflective of what's going on with your children. So Jupiter entering Pisces in your chart is also going to impact your children. So some of your children, like if they're they may just be having like a really good week where they're just enjoying things. Some of your kids might be in the throes of falling in love, hopefully if they're older. Doing some sort of hobby, anything like that. You might even be one of your children. You might find out one of your children is pregnant, right? Because the 5th house is children. So one of your children might be having a child. So any of these things could be happening with Jupiter entering Pisces right now, as an aside, okay? But this is what I want to talk about here. There's a very important thing with Jupiter in Pisces, if we're open to it. And it's the idea that just when things seem really kind of shitty, right? Hopeless and bleak, and not really by all accounts you feel like things are going your way, Jupiter kind of comes out of nowhere and salvages the situation like a guardian angel, just sort of like in the nick of time. And I know that sounds very airy-fairy and Hallmark, and I'm typically not like that as a reader, but I've had too many experiences with the Jupiter energy to not understand the power of it. Now, this has less to do with this good energy and more to do with how Jupiter rolls, right? Now, Jupiter in Pisces brings a very deep faith in life and openness, right, to wanting something to work out. But what is the real deal with Jupiter is wherever he is, he's looking for the meaning in life, looking for the meaning in that house, looking for the meaning and the truth. And why I like that, and many of you might like this as well, those of us who are very open, we want to change, we want to be the best version of ourselves. If you're really open and honest, there are beautiful gifts. But this is the thing with Jupiter and Pisces, is that the meaning in something is not found in any external reality, but it's within yourself. It's within self. So it's a very supportive energy that can turn negative experiences into positive ones and obstacles into blessings, which is why I'm saying here, I do feel like there's some sort of challenge that you're dealing with, but you're going to have all of this very supportive energy to sort of pull yourself out of it. So this is a great time in general to go within through meditation, stillness, the practice of stillness, prayer, retreating of any kind that makes you feel good in a healthy way, music, art. But here is the possible tricky part. This kind of stillness and self-care isn't very easy for everyone, and I feel like I really need to talk about this in all my videos this week, because the personal truth that's going to be coming out, or that wants to come out in this energy, might be uncomfortable for whoever's experiencing it. That's the thing. So that could end up inciting reckless behavior, because what happens is, instead of going within, there's the seeking external for external fulfillment. So that could be, again, reckless behavior, overindulgence in alcohol, drugs, any sort of like manic theatrics. I mean, it really could be like that in this energy, hypocrisy, any kind of self-undoing kind of thing. Right? If we're not really open to really getting honest with ourselves, and, and open with ourselves about something having to do with this fifth house energy. So it's being really honest about that romance, how you're connected to your partner, what it is you love to do because you love to do it, what your passions are, what your talents, gifts, and abilities are. If you really are being pushed to open that business, you might be in this space where it's like, now is the time. I'm going to roll out that project. I'm going to do this thing. And honestly, thumbs flipping up for that, right? Go for it. In this energy, absolutely. Go for it. Even if you feel like very shaky, very vulnerable, very insecure, it's not going to happen this week. This is the week that things are starting to change, though, and you're going to really feel it. And when you look at the near future, best card in the whole deck, Scorpio, the World. This is awesome. This is a Saturn energy, and Saturn rules the 10th house of career and public reputation and standing in the world. So this is awesome for career, for marriage, for whatever it is that you're known to be doing, right? In numerology, this is the Empress, and the Empress is all about growth and expansion. Right? The Empress is the mother of the Taurus. So some of you may be finding out that you're pregnant, or again, one of your children may be finding out that they're pregnant, or maybe one of your children are getting engaged, or you're getting engaged, right? I'm just, just to reiterate the idea that whatever happens to you happens to your kids. But this is about lessons learned, and there's something is completed here. So what I like about this for the World is, in that 8th house energy, if you're trying to kind of negotiate or navigate some sort of understanding with a partner, a business situation, some sort of legal situation, it's like lesson learned and it's completed. It's something is completed here. Now we have the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. You might be dealing at the end of the day with somebody who is greedy. You might be dealing with a greedy person in your family, a greedy person in some sort of business connection. This could have to do with somebody within a romantic connection. But I feel like because there's some sort of financial dependence going on here, there could even be some sort of envy going on here, either towards you or you towards somebody else. But I'm not really that worried about it. Let me just pull some cards. Good. 8 of Wands. Let's get some information on here. Okay. Yes, beautiful. I love the cards. All right, so we have 8 of Wands. So really good news coming in. This is new news coming in, right? Somebody's being really greedy, right? And then some good news comes in. Lots of busy communication, right? Really good if you've been feeling like stuck or held back or waiting for a decision. Just good, right? Really good news. If this has to do with love, really good news about love, especially if you've been separated. So we have the 6 of Swords here. 6 of Swords is about moving on, to detach, to just get away from whatever's toxic. Just allowing yourself to do some internal work. And it's just like, you and your toxic ways, no, I'm not going to deal with that. Because some news is going to come in that's going to make it easier for you to pull away from that. And it might be some sort of new offer, like a new job coming in. We have the Ace of Cups. This is great for any area of your life. Happiness and contentment, getting what you desire. Money comes to you quickly, or at least you're shown how to achieve what you want. This is about a foundation of stability. So I just feel like you're going to be in this space where you're going to leave behind negative fill in the blank. If you've been dealing with the negative people, or people who can help you but they're not, or any kind of situation like that. And then we have the Death card. We have you. And I like this, because this could be a possible ending to some sort of business money situation. And even though initially it might feel uncomfortable, this just means that there's something new on the horizon that's even better. You just have to be patient. And it's coming. We got the 10 of Cups then as the final outcome. The Death energy could also mean either the ending of a relationship or a very necessary separation, just so that you guys can breathe a little bit. This could also be loving a family member from a distance. Like, love you, but can't do this right now. So you love them from across the street. That could even have to do with a friend as well. But things, rectifying themselves later on after everybody has a chance to breathe. And then we have the 10 of Cups as the final outcome. Family contentment, benefits of security, great energy for family partnerships. Whatever you've been working on, finally coming together. Having to do with deep communication. It could have to do with romance, business, family, anything like that. So I really like it. You understanding the steps and going the distance, right? But you're thinking, you're asking the questions, you're paying attention. You're not taking anything at face value. You're not. And that's a really good piece of advice here for sure. Absolutely. Especially because of the retro shadow, the pre-retro shadow that we're going to be having on the 14th. Mercury doesn't go retrograde until the 29th, but we're still going to be feeling sort of like the vibe of the impending retrograde up to that point. Your electronics might wonk out on you a little bit. It really does depend on, for you personally, where is Mercury in your chart. Like, if you know your chart and you were born with Mercury retrograde, it's nothing. It's actually really positive for you. Okay. Let's go to relationship. Couple of healing yourself oracles. We have hole in the soul. Oh, who just got this? I think Libra just got this. Hole in the soul. We do with relationship. Cycles. Letting go. Okay, let's see. This may be what you're talking about. This may be all that what you're talking about, right? In this 8th house, 7th house energy with your partner. Having those deep conversations in the pre-shadow, in the 5th house. How you guys communicate. Hermit. Page of Pentacles. Justice energy. 5 of Wands. So these are general messages, guys. Take what resonates, throw out the rest, and don't try to make it fit. Some of you may have resonated with the first spread as your relationship. Not this one. Okay. We have the Page of Wands. So, yeah, this is a new, meeting somebody new. Somebody new coming in who's very motivated, who's very passionate, very energized energy. Now, if this is somebody that you're meeting, again, they could be a writer, they could be an artist, or they could be a player, Scorpio, keeping it real. Because the wand is a phallic symbol. So you do want to be careful of that. You know, and this is somebody who, they're a hardworking person, they're very creative, but they get bored very easily and they kind of like move on to whatever attracts them next. So if you're meeting somebody new right now, you want to make sure that their walk matches their talk, you know, anything like that. Now, others of you, this can indicate a new cycle, because pages indicate a new cycle. And in the relationship, you may be experiencing what you feel to be a new cycle in your relationship. And where it is that you guys are at and where it is that you're going may seem in your mind's eye a lot more, maybe has seemed like it would be a lot more enticing in theory than it is in reality. It doesn't mean you don't want to be in it. It doesn't mean that at all. But things might not be looking exactly as you had hoped they would look at this point. But you still want to be in it. You still, you know, you're still on board. But we have the Hermit energy right now. And this is being crossed by the Page of Pentacles. So the Hermit energy does indicate, first of all, the Hermit energy is Virgo. It's Virgo energy. And Virgo is the landlord of the 6th house of solving problems, right? And it's mental, physical, emotional health as well. So there could be some looking at either your mental, physical, emotional health about something, the health of the relationship. This is a problem-solving energy. So if you're alone right now, first of all, whatever you were in up to this point hasn't been meant for you. So it's time to do some really good work on yourself and just think about things that have gone in the past, so you don't make in the past, so you don't make those mistakes again. Now, those of you who are in a relationship, you're going to be about trying to solve problems, but you need to invest more energy and work to smooth over any issues that need addressing right now. You know, it's very important to kind of like pull it back and say, okay, you know, what do we need to work on here? We're getting very lost in the busyness of life, sort of thing. And some of you just might be pulling it back and saying, okay, we have to sit down and have a really good conversation about money. This could be this, okay? Now, I just want to say, this is a really good energy as an influence. It's about progress, very auspicious new beginning regarding finances for the two of you, connecting in a new and different way, but you're putting a lot of hard work into this, but there's a lot of success. So I feel like there's lots of problem solving, lots of saying, okay, how do I feel in this situation? I'm not sure, because you might be feeling like something's a little unfair. Maybe not, depends on what, you know, what's going on. But this is about the truth coming out and really looking at balance and trying to find a win-win situation. And the idea of perception versus objectivity and reality and fairness and who feels what. Balance and fairness are really important to look at right now, right? Remember, this is a Venus energy. What does Venus want for us? To feel loved, to feel good about ourselves, to like the version of ourselves that we are in that relationship. So really ask yourself, do you like the version of yourself, who you are in this relationship? And do you feel like things are balanced and fair? Because you really want to make sure that your emotional needs are being met in this energy. Now, this could also indicate, I do just want to say that for those of you who are dealing as a couple with any sort of legal issue, including property of all kinds, any issue can be resolved. So papers getting signed, things progressing nicely. So love it for those of you who are closing on a home, you're closing on a lease for a business, you're, you know, look, I mean, if you're letting go and you're feeling this home so, but if you're getting divorced, I mean, that could even be, apply it however you would, but things going well in that area. And we do have the Five of Wands as the foundation energy. You know what? This is such a silly card. I don't get mad at it, whatever. You're having an argument with somebody, but it's like a battle of the wills. I think this. No, well, I think this, right? It's like a lack of agreement with very strong opinions. Everybody's fighting to be heard. So you want to just be careful. You know, you might be fighting about house stuff. You might be fighting about marriage plans. You might be fighting about something going on in the relationship. This is a minor arcana. It's based in ego. If you know that this is going to happen, because it's going to happen, it's probably going to happen around the 14th. I'm just saying. And just say, oh man, all right. retro shade. That retro shade energy's got me, right? So just to be forewarned, just to be forearmed. But we have the Four of Wands, and I really like this energy for you, because this is about home, creativity, success, celebratory vibe. I really like it. I mean, this is about you guys opening your hearts, expressing your love. This is affection. This is the honeymoon energy, right? So this is a very auspicious energy for recognizing, like, okay, we're entering a new phase of our relationship right now. Really nice. So I feel like definitely like there's some sort of coupling already here. I don't feel like this is absolutely like a single read. I'm sorry for those of you if that's not resonating with you as a single. I have to read what's here. And then we have the Star, beautiful Aquarius energy. So the Star has to do with, you know, a change for the better after a difficult time. And this also is a big indicator that you're destined to be with somebody. And the position that it's in, this is either the general energy surrounding you or the energy of somebody else and how they feel about you. So that you can be dealing with somebody who knows that you are their person and that they're meant to be with you, but you also feeling like you belong with them, even if things have been really, really challenging. So I do like that, but look at your challenges, the Five of Swords. Oh yeah, you might be dealing with like somebody where this is your challenge, okay? There's this kind of clash of desire and reality. And there could be an argument. But what I kind of like about it is I'm getting that it's going to end up being a fair fight at the end of the day because of where it's positioned. The Five of Swords really is this. All right, I really want to do this, but I don't have the money. Or I really want to do this, but my partner's never going to go for that. I really want to do this, but I can't, right? And that's that. Remember I said, more at the beginning of the reading about the square to Saturn and Jupiter, right? It's like that's Saturn energy is just going to be a thing for everybody right now, where we're going to feel this push forward, but we're going to be like, okay, we just have to do A, B, and C first, right? You're not going to win the situation, so don't even bother. Just deal with whatever disappointment. It's a minor arcana. It's not going to last. Have the conversation again in a couple of weeks. It's not the end of the world if you're in that situation, because it's in your psychology. So this may not even manifest in reality. May not even. So we have the Nine of Wands in the near future, which is about you being in a really strong position. Right? This is telling me that you're fighting really long and hard to make something happen for yourself. And you might be in a space temporarily where you feel like you need to defend yourself, like what you want, need, and desire. Just make sure you don't keep yourself in a negative mindset. You definitely still want to be in this. You have fire in your belly left for this person, for this relationship. Your efforts are going to be successful if you just keep at it and maintain balance, right? Because you don't want... If you sort of let yourself spiral, you're going to end up in the Ten of Wands, which is the card of overwhelm, and you don't want that. So we have the High Priestess energy. So the High Priestess is, well, for some of you, you and your partner might be trying to keep part of your life a secret from others right now. So maybe you want to secretly get married, or you secretly got back together and you don't want to tell anybody, or you're pregnant, or some of you may be having some sort of affair, right? You may be seeing your partner, in private, in secret, on the side. Or finally, some of you just may be having a lot of thoughts about how it is that you feel, right? You feel, because the High Priestess is a moon energy and the moon rules our emotions, and you're not really discussing what it is that you're feeling right now. Okay. All right. So we have the Queen of Swords. You're just really trying to get to the truth of something. And it just, oh man, are you going to be like that for sure, Scorpio, with this Mercury pre-retrograde shadow in your 5th house? Yes. You're going to be asking a lot of questions to your partner, to your kids, to people, of things, very intense energy. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. And at the end of the day, you're really looking for your security, and you're looking to protect yourself. A lot of you may be in a space within your relationship where you feel like maybe your partner is taking advantage of you financially, or you're just really worried about finances for some reason, or it doesn't have to do with that. Because the pentacles can mean money, but it can also mean mental, physical, and emotional connection, where you're in the space of feeling the need to really, really protect yourself because you're trying to get to the truth of something. We have the death and rebirth energy, which means ending and beginning. So it could be an ending temporarily so that you guys could find healthier legs later on. This could be a complete ending of the relationship. Or this just can be this realization where, you guys are going to be doing something different, right? Because an additional energy here is where your living circumstances might change because you realize that where you live no longer meets your overall needs. And this could manifest as an offer to move somewhere that incites a new beginning for you. So maybe you guys together as a couple, you put a bid on a home and you guys are moving. But you might be a little concerned about money. And this might be a thing in the relationship right now. Okay, and then we have the Six of Pentacles. I have your back, you have mine. This has to do with property, family, inheritance, generosity, support. If you've been struggling financially, things are going to get better. This is money coming to you. So someone from your past coming in to help you out, or you getting money from some sort of outside source. But there's some sort of like, I have your back, you have mine kind of thing. And then we have the Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Happiness. Really beautiful. Now, this is kind of like finding each other again, feeling more connected to your own heart, growing your relationship, old tensions dissolving, just dissolving into the waters from the past. And then this final closing energy, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So, investing your time wisely, investing your energy wisely. I mean, straight up, this could be, if you guys are moving into a house, this is like a thumbs up kind of investment. But things just going really well for you guys, like moving forward. I do feel like there's an energy that you're dealing with that is very loyal and dependable. They have a lot to offer. They do have a lot to offer with the Knight of Pentacles energy. Now, the person that you're dealing with, they might be, from your perspective right now, a little slow to share their feelings, or you might be a little slow to share your feelings. And there could be like this element of boredom right now, and not because of anybody's fault. Maybe you're just both really, really busy. But what I like about this energy is this person can be your rock, right? Really like just your true blue, really there. So maybe you need to spice things up a little bit on the romantic front. Could be. All right, my friends, let's just pull a couple of Valentine Wellness, and then I will let you go about your day. Just to close this out. Camera, reminiscing, learning from the past. Okay, so it looks like there was some sort of imbalance in this relationship. We have Camera, the Grim Reaper, the Snake Hammer. So to me, it looks like your relationship was over at some point. Now, I'm going to give a couple of interpretations of this. There's a learning from the past, and the idea of there being a karmic connection. There's a letting go and loving you kind of energy. Resentment, lessons, lots of lessons. Learning from the past, the lessons. We have the Grim Reaper. The relationship is over, no second chances. Grow and transform your life. Then we have the energy of talking. Interested, conversing more, awaited message. So for some of you, there was a situation where you guys were broken up and they called you. It was like, that's it, this is done. But then you guys are like, oh, okay, somebody called. You never thought it was going to work, and all of a sudden you hear from them. That's where the cycles come in. That's where that energy of letting go came in. You were feeling a hole in your soul. This person came in. But what was it that you were talking about? The fact that maybe this person you were dealing with, or you, maybe they were discussing with you or you with them, that there was some sort of fear of intimacy. A little too much listening to the ego. Somebody is the runner in a codependent relationship here. And we have the snake. This idea of maybe there was another person involved, or maybe there was the fear of another person involved. You know, some sort of malicious energy, even if there wasn't a person involved. Just, you know, not feeling like somebody didn't have your back. It's the same thing over and over again. The hammer. Sabotage, sabotage. Repetitive, always working on it. Cycles, over and over again. And that's typically the energy with addiction. Now, addiction is, again, codependent obsessions, possession, controlling, has a block, restraint. Could also have to do with addiction or narcissistic tendencies. So for a lot of you, this is like, all right, you know what? I have to let go because this cycle is going to keep going around and round. They could come in and give me all the lip service they want. But at the end of the day, you may feel like this is not really going to end up being the right thing for you. Many of you are going to be dealing with that energy, right? Energy is very fluid. It could show up several ways. Others of you were broken up. Somebody learned their lesson with the camera and the karmic. You guys were talking. What did you have to talk about? The fact that somebody allowed their ego and fear of intimacy to get in the way. And you guys have been doing on this roller coaster over and over again. But you're like, all right, you know what? It's time to end this ride. Either we're going to make it or we're going to break it at this point. There's no in between. So a lot of you are going to be, depending on the energy that you're dealing with, are going to be working at it to fix it, and it's going to go beautifully. Others of you are going to be saying, no, you know what? I love myself too much to deal with this. They're not on the same page as me as far as working at it. I'm going to go this way. And things going very well for you. So, you know, if that's your story, you're meeting another energy here, because I see another energy here for you. There's another energy here. All right, my friends, that's what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.